then you fall. Oh, well done. When you stop holding on, you fall. When you stop, for everybody that we forgot to record the beginning of the call, but for everybody, we're talking about awakening and enlightenment. And we were saying awakening is something you fall into because you give up resistance, you give up holding on, you give up the past, you give up the future, you give up opinion, you give up judgment. So you fall into awakening, right? Yeah. It's a willingness to disappear and let go of all tension.
Wow.
Yeah.
I get what you, it's like I can feel what you're saying more than I could even put words around it.
Yeah. So what did I say it was? I forgot now. It was.
You said that it's
embracing, right? It's not getting somewhere. It's falling into awakening. It's embracing the entire world, all the darkness and the light of it. Right? So you become the space of it all where love can arise. I don't think it's a process, Abby. I don't think awakening is a process.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Well, if it was a process, we could teach it to people.
Right. Oh, right. There would be like steps.
Yeah.
Step 1.
That 1, 2, 3, you know, okay, 4, you'll be awakened. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That makes total sense. Anything with a process has a scientific method and a step-by-step and a, okay, great. So if it's not a process, then what do you think it is?
Well, look, it's, you know, some people say to me, they bring time to awakening, right? They say, well, it takes time. You've been at it for 30 years. But I'm not getting anywhere, right? It's not that I'm not awakened. It's that I embrace everything about being a human. It doesn't mean that I'm perfect. It doesn't mean that I'm sorted out. It will never mean that. You cannot avoid the human, the humanity, right? So it is in the present moment. It's immediate. It doesn't take time because the moment you give up and you surrender and you fall into awakening, you're awakened. And then the experience goes away. You've had those moments.
Wow.
It doesn't take time. It's like a aha moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's awakening. It's the aha moment.
Wow. Yeah, I completely know what you mean. It's like in those moments, even if it's just you know, have anyone listening, maybe you can share any type of moment you've had. The moment that I'm thinking is like, you know, when you're just walking down the street and you just see something beautiful, like a bird or something, or a plant, and you just have a moment where you just everything kind of falls away. You just kind of drop into that complete moment, and you're so there's sort of like awe present in a way, like oh wow, like it, you know, in that moment nothing changes. Actually, if anything, it's so that moment nothing changes.
Yeah. So you really have to awaken moment by moment by moment. You know what I mean?
Wow. So Sophie, do you think that there comes a time in the awakening process where you are always in that awakened state, or is that not an earth thing? Like, you know, what's your opinion?
I haven't been 100% in an awakened state, but but actually it's not true. I am very awake to when I'm at the effect of my humanity, right? And I'm quite fast just going back. Right. So I suppose that's so, but that's the most I've accomplished, other than mystical moment, out of body experience and unbelievable experience. Those are even something else, right? But the day-to-day, my day-to-day is how fast can I catch myself not being present.
Oh, wow.
Right? So there is a process to expressing your awakening. You need to practice awareness. There is a process, right, that I've been learning for years and years. That's why I'm quite good at it. I'm quite fast at it, right? But the awakening itself is, I tell you, it's like falling into awakening. It's it doesn't take any time. And the way to get it is to have a beginner's mind, Abby, and everybody on the call. You know, nobody knows anything. Nobody knows how to stop suffering. Nobody knows how to not believe your thoughts. Nobody knows how to stop, you know, ego attacks. You don't know how anything. Nobody knows how not to suffer. Nobody knows how to awaken. So when you get that you know nothing,
that's
I always love, yeah, I know. I just love that space of nothingness. Just talking about it, boop, it's there.
Yes.
I have nowhere to go, nothing to do. Oops, I know nothing.
It reminds me,
I don't understand anything.
Whenever you speak about it, I literally get the picture in my mind of babies when you play the game of, like, you know, hide and seek, and literally you're gone, you're there. You're gone, you're there. They're so with you in the, that's what I feel in when we talk about it and we giggle. It's because there's that sort of hilariousness of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, I thought, oh, well, when I'll be enlightened, then everything will be perfect, right? It was like a goal. Well, that is absurd. I mean, frankly, Abby, when in 2010, I went on a spiritual quest, right? I went, you know, so Hinduism, Buddhism, Tantric yoga, went to the Amazon forest, worked with shaman, went to ashram. I did experience that enlightened state, right? Really great for a while. But after a while, I started feeling that there was something else, right? And then when you don't feel that state of total freedom and lightness of being, I started to think, oh my, maybe there is something that I didn't see. Maybe there is something I need to fix. Maybe, you know, that something is not complete in my education. But I was feeling whole and complete and divided, right? And then I realized that the goal is not to be awakened or enlightened. Is that as you go up the scale of consciousness, you get more and more profound insights, and you know, there is no end point.
It's like infinite in every direction.
Yeah.
Sophie, can I ask, on the note of what you were saying before about that feeling of like wanting it to be perfect, like, I think that's a very relatable feeling. I definitely have experienced a lot of that, like, oh, when will it just get perfect and get fixed? And as I think as humans, we tend to go into that sort of illusion of like, oh, everything can get fixed or everything can be perfect. And it seems relatively universal. Do you have any idea why humans are so prone to that?
The ego, right? The ego wants to grab and identify with something that is fixed, unmoving, resolved, an end goal. But life is all movement. Right? Okay. So when you awaken, then there is more movement. Then there is actually more profound movement, bigger movement even, that happens, right? So if you want, that's what the problem with goals are. Goals is a finite moment in time where you accomplish something and then it's rigid. No, that's not possible. That's not how the universe works. So when you awaken to who you really are, you've got to be ready. Is that the feeling of oneness, the feeling of unity, the feeling of, you know, I think it's Jesus Christ that said, I am in this world, but not from this world.
Mm-hmm.
It just will have other things to arise, because you always will have the human element.
Mm. Okay, that's beautiful. Thank you for saying that. It is that sort of want it to be resolved, but the counter to what you said, which is that life is all movement and life is all change, that makes total sense.
So the awakening is to experience who you really are, right? And then to express spirit or your soul or your essence on the material world. So the process after that is to allow your soul or your essence to inhabit every part of your human and your human life. That's the process, and that never stops.
Oh, that never stops. That's what never stops.
That never stops.
Mm.
The expression of spirit in the material world. But what I really finally, I heard myself saying it last week to one of my students, maybe I'm really slow. No, it's quite the opposite. Being awakened doesn't mean you're not going to go through anything difficult. In fact, the more awakened you are, the more capable you are to handle life circumstances.
That's right. Yeah, that's interesting. It's just what you've said about other things, and it's the same in a different way, which is it's all about letting go. And we think that we're just like, if we don't cling to our things and our beliefs and our control, that everything's going to go haywire. But really, it's that letting go process that actually allows us to deal with life circumstances in a more powerful way.
And then the game, right, Abby, which is so delicious, is that I call it being soul expressed, right? Are you big enough to meet life at every single level as an expression of your essence?
Wow.
Are you willing to embrace the whole of life and stay true to who you really are? And with your own self-expression. You know, I was reading Aya Shanti, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about Jesus Christ and Buddha, and he calls it, I call it soul express, he calls it autonomy, I think. And he was saying, you know, we have pictures of Buddha under a tree smiling in total bliss, and we have Jesus Christ as this loving, kind man. I mean, Jesus Christ went into a church, a temple, and just threw a tantrum and just broke all the tables of the people selling stuff inside of the temple. And, you know, he liked parties. He had wine all the time.
Yeah.
And he was using this example, which I absolutely adored, right?
Yeah.
Saying that Jesus Christ had quite a temper, Mother Teresa had quite a temper that just pleased me no end. But he said, just find your own soul expression.
Mm.
That is part of the awakening. So there is no place to get to. It's in the present moment. And it's needed at the moment, right? It's needed. It's, you know, with everything that's happening in Ukraine, and but many times a day, I need to presence my own essence to be able to be with the circumstances of life. So
do you just sort of close your eyes and just tune into that space in order to?
Yeah, I go to the space of love and surrendering and what I call faith. And space of not understanding, not knowing anything, not figuring out anything, I get back to the place of trust in the universe. The universe never makes mistakes, and that's what I'm holding on to. So, talking about that, Abby, shall we talk about the seminar we're going to lead in April?
Oh, that would be great. Let's definitely do that.
It's called A Way Out of Insanity. And everybody, you've heard me say it before, but the systemic crisis we're going through is expanding, right? And unfortunately, I wish I was wrong, but I think it's boiling up and up. So it's really needed to get some power, to get a line, to understand why history repeats itself, to get a way out of insanity with yourself, with others, and with the world. So maybe, Abby, you can put the link in Facebook so that people can go and see it and come and join us. It's 4 sessions, it's live. We have the kind of conversation we're having here every Monday. We'd love having you, and invite your friends. The more, the merrier.
Yeah, and if I could just say one thing about the seminars, you know, as you all know, I spend lots of time with Sophie. We've had years together to talk about a lot of topics. I learn so much in the seminars, and we have so much fun. It's very interactive. You can ask questions and comment and talk about your own life. And I think what's so special about this is that whether you've been to one or not, like, it's a process where you're not just listening to a lecture, you're involving yourself into the topic of the seminar, and we just have a lot of fun together. So we'd love to have you. We always have really great groups. So I'll post underneath, and before we go, I will check Facebook just in case we have any
Yes.
happening now.
Yes.
Really quickly here. Okay, let's see. I don't see any comments at the moment, but we have some likes and hearts. So thank you to those of you that are here. And as always, if you have questions or comments afterward, please feel free to put them underneath.
All right, bye everybody. See you next week.
Bye, Sophie.
Bye, darling.